Okay, so whistleblower Edward Snowden's revelation that the NSA has been collecting cell phone and internet records of American citizens has highlighted how divided Americans are on these privacy issues. The Supreme Court might take the first step in settling the debate, starting with the issue of cell phone privacy. No surprise, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano has an opinion on all this.
If I could just weigh in on the intro, the Supreme Court wouldn't take the first step. The Supreme Court would take the last step.
The last stop on the line.
The Supreme Court will
right.
have the final word on this. Somebody will challenge something somewhere along the line. It'll make its way up to the Supreme Court.
And so what happens? Play it out.
Well, look, the reason we're discussing this now is because the Chief Justice of the United States over the weekend, while on vacation, in an offhanded manner said to a reporter, look, this privacy stuff is all over the place.
Right.
I pulled it out, a cell phone just like everybody else. This is the Chief Justice saying this now, not me. Sooner or later, we're going to be reviewing the ability of the federal government to get inside of this. I don't want to give you any thoughts on it because I may be having the final say on it. So because he like everybody else, reads newspapers and goes on the internet and is aware of what's happening, he knows that this will eventually get to him. The reason it will eventually get to him is because it is so unbelievably widespread. I mean, prevalent. On June 6th of this year, just 2 months ago, when Edward Snowden revealed what he now revealed, the government denied what it now admits, which is that it has the content of every email, every text message, and every phone call in the United States of America for the past fill in the blank. They won't tell us what the blank is. Initially, they said, no, we only have identifying information. We know to whom it was sent, by whom it was sent, how long the call was made, and where the caller was.
Do you believe
but that's not true. We now know that they have everything.
They have it all.
Whether or not they have read it, whether or not they have listened to it, they haven't said, but we know they can with the pressing of a couple of keys on their computers.
So what it boils down to then, it will end up in the Supreme Court more than likely, and the government will argue that, look, this is a matter of national security. So does it come down to what actually qualifies as national security?
It comes down to what the Congress permits the Congress to do in the name of national security or anything else.
Okay.
Start with basics. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It created the presidency, the courts, and the Congress. They can only do what the Constitution authorizes them to do, no matter how emergent is their need for action.
I don't believe any of this, though, Judge. Do you believe that they have access to every single text, email out there? Anything I text right now, they have access to?
I believe it for a couple of reasons. I believe it because Snowden and other NSA whistleblowers, including a very famous one named Thomas Drake, who was prosecuted by the government and the prosecution was tossed, have said this. And I believe it because the government has not denied it. And I believe it because the president, who said 2 months ago they can't listen to your phone calls and read your texts, has stopped saying that. So I do believe that they reluctantly acknowledge that they have this power. I also believe it because Congressman Rogers, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, asked General Keith Alexander, the director of the NSA, does the NSA have the ability to read emails and listen to phone calls? Answer, no. We don't have that authority. Question asked about ability. Answer replied about authority.
In other words,
he very carefully parsed his words because he was under oath when he answered that.
That's very, very frightening if all that's true.
It is frightening. We live in frightening times.
We do.
Judge Andrew Napolitano, I'm glad you were here.
Pleasure.